If you were to ask me, what do you think is an ideal classic physique? I would say that it is Mr. Aesthetics himself from the golden era, Frank Zane. But how is this related to the modern day classic physique division? Well, before the classic physique division was established, if you were to ask any bodybuilding fan, in what era do you find the most aesthetic bodybuilders? They would say that it is from the golden era. And what was the point of the classic physique division? Well, it was to bring back aesthetic bodybuilding, but have they managed to succeed in that department? Well, yesterday at the 2021 NPC Nationals, 8 new classic physique competitor pros were created. And are they aesthetic? Are they sort of reminiscent of the golden era? And if not, are they pretty much aesthetic, proportionate, stuff like that in their own way? Well, let us find out. First of all, we can start with the guy who actually won the show for the classic physique division, none other than this guy. And in my opinion, this guy was a bright spot because even though I feel like his wheels are just slightly overdeveloped, I feel like he is, I guess, proportionate enough upstairs. He is also well developed. His lats, delt, chest, arms, stuff like that, well developed. So props to him. But this is pretty much the only bright spot when it comes to the new pros that were created yesterday for the classic physique division. Because moving on, you have this guy, knock knock, who's there? Absolutely not this man's arms, because they are basically, with all due respect, non-existent. And I do not mean to be overly harsh, but come on guys, this is a classic physique division pro, and I will say that this guy has an amazing structure upstairs, but the muscle, the mass is just tremendously lacking upstairs. And meanwhile, downstairs, his wheels, they are not freaking amazing or overly freaky, but in comparison to him upstairs he look like he's a natural. Downstairs, I don't know, guys. This just looks so unproportionate from my eyes, but you guys tell me if you agree or disagree in the comment section below. But let's move on to some other newly created pros, like this man right here. And this man right here, he's not the most aesthetic overall. He does not have a great structure. But again, guys, he's sorely lacking when it comes to the arms. And downstairs in the wheels department, it's not the best either, but he's not lacking as much, if that makes sense. So again, guys, why are there so many classic physique pros that have the wheels as their best body part? Jesus, guys, I do not know. I mean, come on, guys. If you have, like, I don't know, just a regular young man and he wants to start at the gym, what is the first thing that he would say that he wants to develop huge? I have no idea, but maybe I'm completely wrong, but I wouldn't say that most people would say, man, I want some freaking huge adductors, some freaking huge quads, hamstrings, and stuff like that. I would rather reckon that most guys would like to develop huge arms, huge chest, a big back, stuff like that. So I guess that is what most people would consider to be aesthetic, and that is also what sort of trademarked the golden era. But these new classic physique pros do not seem to resemble that at all. But maybe these two are just outliers. So let's move on to this man right here. And in my opinion, it does not get any better. This guy's arms absolutely suck, with all the respect. Of course, I'm not saying that they do absolutely suck, as in absolutely sucks. But for a classic physique pro or for an IPP pro in general, come on, guys, they do sort of suck. But let's move on to this man right here. And upstairs, this guy, he's better than the previous two gentlemen or the previous three gentlemen. But still, guys, when it comes to the lower body, this guy is absolutely freaking huge. Do those wheels even belong in classic physique? Man, I don't know. I feel like those wheels resemble more an open IPP competitor, and I'll showcase that later on, but I don't know, man. That is just my opinion. I think that this guy can be great if he lost some mass downstairs and added some upstairs, but it is what it is, guys. But let's move on to the second to last guy who turned pro, and this guy right here, I could not find him hitting a sort of frontable biceps. But again, guys, this guy does not have the best structure, but I feel like he is not as disproportionate as the rest of the guys that I've shown previously. But the same cannot be said for this man right here. And again, guys, this guy is fairly good, I would say. But again, the main criticism I have of him is that he is bottom heavy. Even if he was, imagine that he sort of kept the same proportion but added like 50 pounds of muscle and became an open bodybuilder. I mean, people would say the same thing. He's just too bottom heavy and needs to add some more mass downstairs. But for some reason, it seems that this is the new norm in the classic physique division. And the last guy is not any better. I mean, do I even need to say more? I think not. So I'll just move on to the new men's physique pros that were created yesterday. And why do I do that? Well, because in my opinion, I know that these guys do not have a weight cap and the classic physique division dudes do. But that should not be an excuse because you can choose where you can sort of distribute that weight. And in my opinion, again, guys, since these guys can be heavier, they might have an unfair disadvantage. But imagine putting these dudes in classic physique posing trunks. I think that they would absolutely smoke the new classic physique division pros when it comes to aesthetic wise. And just to showcase this point further, that the classic physique division is not as aesthetic anymore, or at least I don't know if it has ever been. But when it comes to the new generation of classic physique pros, just compare it to also two dudes that turned pro for the IFBB men's open division. And these two guys, tell me that they are not more proportionate and more aesthetic than the classic physique division pros that I showcase. Now I know that these guys are sort of freaky and absolutely huge, but they are also way more proportioned. I mean, look at their wheels in comparison to their arms, and neither of these guys have sort of weak wheels, but they do have amazing arms, and in my opinion, that makes them tremendously aesthetic. So, in my opinion, it is weird to say, but the classic physique competitors should strive to have proportions more akin to this. Again, guys, that is just my opinion, but to also showcase this, I also wanted to compare a classic physique division pro, or someone who newly turned pro yesterday, to an already established open bodybuilder pro, Mr. Rafael Brandao. Now, guys, when you look at the downstairs department, and this is the point I would like to prove, I would say that, of course, Brandao, he's still winning in the downstairs department, just looking at this from a bodybuilding judge's perspective. But is it a total blowout, guys? Man, I don't know, but I would not honestly say so. I think that this newly established Classic Physique Division Pro, he can pretty much go toe-to-toe with a lot of open bodybuilders in the wheels department, but upstairs, the open bodybuilders would just make him look natty, and that is just what is sort of, I don't know, to me, that is just insane. But you guys tell me what you think. Anyway, guys, moving on to the final thing that I wanted to discuss, and that is how should the future of the classic physique division be when it comes to proportions and stuff like that. Well, I know that Lee Haney would not be even close to making the weight cap, but in my opinion, if you take a look at Lee Haney upstairs, his arms, his chest, his lats, stuff like that, they were well developed, and downstairs, his wheels, I would not say that he's lacking in wheels at all. I think that his wheels are also well developed. So in my opinion, the Golden Era guys, they often lacked more in the wheels than upstairs. And I would say that that is also slightly disproportionate. I would say that being disproportionately huge upstairs is much more aesthetic than being disproportionately huge downstairs. But why not have the best of both worlds? So in my opinion, something like Lee Haney's proportions, I think that that is perfect. And this is what I think the future of the classic physique division should look like in terms of proportions. Obviously, they have to be smaller than this, but you guys get my point. But let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Do you guys agree with me and think that the modern day classic physique competitors are just disproportionately huge downstairs? Again, guys, this is just my opinion, so take it with a pinch of salt. Please do not get too offended. That is it, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you later.